Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, they're holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
literally off for one fucking day and shit stops working. What the hell? I hope everybody is doing well today. I think you can hear me. If you can confirm that in the chat, that would be great. So lovely to see everybody. It is a Thursday. That's right. You know, sometimes my Fitbit gives me good information, and then sometimes it doesn't. Right now, it's just told me, YouTube, now live on your channel. Well, thanks, Tips. Like I said, I hope everybody's doing well today. I have worked very hard today, recording court from the depths of the United States, Estados Unidos, and I think we're going to watch some of it. We'll have some uploads for this weekend as well, but we're going to watch some now. You saw the title card. You saw the beard that's involved. We have a lot. Also, John, I have been through, I think, 5 to 6 Fitbits. I'm a fucking dedicated user, but maybe even more. Anyways. I love them. I can't use the bands that they come with. I have to buy these magnetic bands. Otherwise, I get a rash on my wrist. But once I get this magnetic band for my Fitbits, I'm golden. A golden child, if you will. I'm not the golden child. I am the black sheep of my family. Okay, so let's get with it. Let's get to it. There's nothing to it but to do it. In the eternal words of Katina Eats Kilos, if you know that channel, you know. Give me a minute. You try and keep your steps under 50. I have had times when my Fitbit's like, hey, you slept for 16 hours. That's not very good. You should maybe go talk to your doctor. And I'm like, haha, joke's on you. I don't have a doctor. I wish. I can't really talk to it like that. I've tried. Anyways. So, here we go. Mom mad about new lady. Dad a drinker? ? That's what I titled this one. Let's find out, shall we? Let's find out. Look at that beard.
Present in my virtual courtroom, I think, are all parties and lawyers. Let me start with the non-custodial parent, Brian William Behrens. Mr. Behrens, I believe you're here. Go ahead and announce yourself with your full legal name, sir.
It's Brian William Behrens.
Thank you. And you're here with a lawyer, Mr. Greg Cisco. If you'd go ahead and announce, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. We represent the respondent, Mr. Behrens.
And for the record, you want to tell me your name?
Gregory S. Cisco.
Thank you. I'd prefer you say it as well. And then I've got the custodial parent. Is it Gudrun?
Gudrun Kathleen Tucker.
Kathleen Tucker. Thank you, ma'am. And you've announced yourself, and you've got your lawyer here as well, Stephen Patanti. Sir, go ahead and announce.
Thank you, Judge. Stephen Patanti for Ms. Tucker.
Thank you. Ms. Campos, go ahead and announce without starting your opening yet. I got a bunch of other things to do first.
Sure. Care Campos for the Office of the Attorney General.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Behrens, Ms. Tucker, I need to swear you in. If you'd raise your right hands for me. Do each of you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, starting with you, sir?
I do.
And ma'am.
I do.
And I do too. I also swear, Christopher, every time I pass by coffee, I think of you. Today, Nana and I were in Walmart, and I said, you know, I'm so lucky. Christopher buys me coffee. And she was confused because Nana doesn't think any of you are real. But anyways, thank you. I'm always laughing about that. She really doesn't think any of y'all are real. Which is her prerogative, let's say. But anyways, can you guys all raise your right hands at home, please? Take the oath and get ready. Here we go. Hi, MB. I may actually have to go to Nana later because her TV... Oh, God, don't tell her about the OnlyFans. Oh, no. She would not do well with that. I might have to go later because she somehow turned her TV volume to 100. And that's too loud for anybody, obviously. And so here's the funniest part about it. I was like, well, Nana, I told you how to turn it down using the button. She said, the button's not working, the button's not working, the button's not working. And so, I said, well, what have you been doing? I don't want you without a TV. And she said after 10 a.m. she turns it on and then she wears earplugs to watch it. There's no remote with this TV. It's from a hospitality. It was a gift from somebody who was working on a hotel. So there's no remote, but I showed her how to turn it down. She knows. And then today when we were at Walmart buying her a universal remote, which I don't actually think will work, I was like, so Nana, like, you know, we talked about it and it turns out she's been turning it up, not down. So that's why I say I may have to go over tonight. I've coached her on how to, I just said, do the opposite of what you're doing. Just try that. Do me a solid. Do the opposite of what you're doing. If that doesn't work, I'll come over and I will sort it out tonight. So I'm hoping that she goes to turn it up now and it somehow turns down, because obviously she turned it all the way up to a fucking 100. And I'm just laughing, like imagining her sitting there wearing earplugs in her own house because her TV's too loud. I did teach her the voice control of the remote, but that only works on the cable box, not on her YouTube. And she likes to watch YouTube. She watches quite a bit of YouTube. Got her addicted. She loves Pierce Morgan. Loves Pierce Morgan. Anyways, all right, let's go.
Thank you. Just so that you're aware of a couple of things, if you've not been in child support court before, is that one, I'm not an elected official. I'm not a district judge or the court reporter. I'm actually an associate judge. I've been appointed to hear cases filed by the Office of the Attorney General, their child support unit. Those are the only kind of cases I hear. And as a child support court, as an associate, they give us digital recorders, not court reporters. So I am a court of record, but it's a digital recorder. So make sure all your answers are verbal when you're answering questions. No shaking your head or nodding. That does not record. No ahas or ahs. I need more formal responses. And then just be aware of that. You need to talk loud enough for the recorder to pick up and for the court to hear. The second part of the recording issues, as you heard me announce, we were live streaming on YouTube. It is a requirement that the courts are open to the public. And when we were sitting in courtrooms, or at least the child support courts, they started back in the COVID days of live streaming on YouTube for Zoom court as a way of publishing to the public. People could log in and still observe their courts at work, since we were not in courtrooms and courthouses. Since the pandemic has ended, the child support courts have been continued or allowed to continue to go forward on Zoom if parties are consent to that. So I tell you all that because we are live streaming and because I don't want you to blow out your home addresses, your social security numbers, cell numbers, something personal that identifies you that you wouldn't want out there on live stream had you known about it. So I try to prevent that if at all possible, but if you say it, I can't take it back. And then be also forewarned that the YouTube app is also recording this. That's not the official record. I've got the official record. However, it is authorized, and as quick as I can get there after my duties here, I try to delete those recordings so people they don't sit out there indefinitely for people to watch at their leisure. They only entitled to the live portion that goes on in the virtual court.
That is, unless you are smart enough and lucky enough to subscribe to my channel. Reminder, if you're worried for me, I am Canadian. The long arm of justice would have a hard time reaching me to hold me in contempt of court, and I do believe most of the courts have other more pressing matters to handle than dealing with a little old Canadian girl recording court. But the point being, she does fucking delete it right away, which means I sat at home and got this very quickly. There's another case that I got most of, what I missed the very end of. Pissed off. Tell you that much. Pissed right off. But anyways, she's gonna give me a warning now, so just be ready.
Right now. The last part of the issues is that recording issues is that do not record. It would be considered a violation of our laws, subject to contempt of court, punishable by a fine and or a jail sentence. And that does apply to anybody here in my virtual courtroom or anyone outside observing in. And so just so you're also aware, the 6 of us on the video here on Zoom are participating in this hearing. I do have a couple of other people in my virtual courtroom. One is my court coordinator, and one is a staff member of the AG's office that's necessary to help finish or conduct the docket. So they won't be participating, but they are allowed to be in here. So let me start with, let's see, Mr. Bayron's lawyer, Mr. Cisco, with all the recording issues, or do you have any questions or concerns on your client's behalf?
No, ma'am, we don't.
And then I assume you are consenting to go forward on Zoom today.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And Mr. Patanti, same first question. Any concerns about the recording issues?
No concerns, Your Honor.
Thank you. And you consent to Zoom today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now I'll stop, and Ms. Campos, you'll start. Tell me what you've done so far and what you want me to do today. So that's your opening statement, followed by the private attorneys, and then we'll go to hearing. Ms. Campos.
Yes, Judge. So we're here today on the state's intervention into an original petition on a SAPSR filed by Dad in this case. Mom has also filed a counter petition and answer at this point. We do have agreements on most issues. We are requesting temporary orders with a referral to district court so that they can finalize. We have agreements on Dad's income, on the guideline child support, which will be set at $18.96 a month starting December 1st. Dad is also carrying the dental and medical insurance through his employer, and that costs $102.40 just for the children.
Isn't that top child support in Texas $18.96 a month for one child? Or 2 children. 2 children, twins, in fact, with terrible names. I'm going to say it now before they say them, my opinion. Seriously, 2 children, $18.96. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. I think that's max. I'm pretty sure that's max. That beard carries a lot. I mean, if he's earning that much. Anyways, what we end up hearing here, what we're here about, is so fucking petty. Such a waste. Such a waste.
For the medical, and then $17.30 just for the children on the dental. His gross monthly resources are $9,997.11 just on these temporary orders.
Okay.
Parties have also agreed to be joint managing conservators with a geographic restriction to Hays and any contiguous counties. Visitation is mostly agreed. They've agreed
You didn't tell
to,
me the primary, I assume
oh,
that's.
mom is the primary.
Okay, thank you.
Visitation is mostly agreed. They've agreed to a generally expanded standard possession schedule, but dad is requesting a full expanded standard possession schedule with drop-offs for his weekends at school on Sunday morning, or sorry, on Monday morning. But mom is requesting that just for the Sundays that he has possession, that her pickup time be at 6 p.m.
Okay, so to vary from the standard order by not allowing that expanded part. Okay,
Correct, just on that Sunday, Judge.
okay.
And then the other thing is they've also agreed to do mediation on December 16th at 9 a.m. So I'll be including that in the order as well.
Give me the date again, just
The mediation will be December 16th at 9 a.m.
thank you. Wonderful, and they agreed to the referral as well, I guess.
Correct, Judge.
Okay, then if anybody had objected to me, all I could do was temporary orders anyway, so let me go forward with, I usually go with the mother's lawyer next, so Mr. Patanti.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have
Ms.
any-
Tucker, can I go forward?
Oh, do you have an opening statement first before we go?
Oh,
to-
yes. Yeah. Ms. Campos did sum up most of everything. This case was started by the dad. Dad filed his petition. Mom filed her counter petition. We've come to an agreement on most issues. Mom, we're going to present evidence today of mom's concern, Ms. Tucker's concerns on why she wants the children returned on Sunday night. And that has to do with a couple of issues. Number one, getting them ready for the school week. Also, her experience with Mr. Barron's alcohol use and drug use, and his schedule, his work schedule. We believe the testimony will show that he works early mornings on Monday and he goes to work early in the morning, maybe 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m. And his girlfriend or significant other or wife, I don't know, we'll find out who that is, will be taking the kids to school on Monday morning. So we feel it's in the best interest of the children to stay with their mom on Sunday night so she can get them ready for the school week and take them to school. We think that's a best interest of the children to have the mom take her versus another individual that's not the father.
Okay, and then has anything been happening already? That's one or the other or something?
And do we, hi Rose, also, you know, this attorney, I will say, has prepared his client, whose name is Gudrun, which is unique to say a word about it. I'll say unique. I don't think, anyways, I won't say anything else. Regardless, what I will say is that there's a little cheat code. There's a cheat code in Texas when it comes to introducing your children to your significant other. If you are married in Texas, well, they value marriage in Texas. And your wife is your wife. She gets there's a lot more leeway given to a married spouse in this type of situation, taking care of some of your responsibilities, as opposed to a girlfriend doing it, let's say. Also, Kimby, I programmed the slots to always lose as a lesson about gambling. But gamble always wins. Here's a little tip for you.
And totally different, or you'll elaborate on that during
Sure.
testimony?
Just to kind of, the testimony is going to show that they have been exercising this kind of expanded standard where he does have them on Thursday nights, but he does return them to her on Sunday night. So she takes them to school in the following day. I think there was only one or two occurrences in the last year where he did have them Sunday night. And I think that was because there was a holiday on Monday.
Okay, thank you. And then Mr. Cisco?
Your Honor, at this point, we're asking that the court follow the standard expanded possession order simply because it makes it easier for everyone. At this point, mom already has half of the Sunday evenings. My, my client had originally requested 50-50 possession, to which opposing party was not acceptable. We're at standard expanded. He doesn't want to lose any more time than he's already lost with his children. And just with regards to um, the ease or the ability to make those drops on Monday morning, that's not a question. At this point, his wife is there and available. He can make them, or his wife can make them for them. That's not a process that's going to cause any undue burden on anyone. So that's where we stand at this point, Your Honor.
And if somebody will tell me, I hope through testimony or even right now, how many children and how old are they? That's what I always like to know first.
There are twin children, one boy, one girl. They're 8 years old.
Okay, thank you. And let's see, state, it's an intervention. Who wants to go first, followed by whom? I'll let y'all decide that since I'm not sure.
I'm going to defer to the attorneys on this one, Judge.
Is
Since-
dad filed? Wouldn't it be his burden then to go first and then mom and then?
At this point, Your Honor, we would defer to opposing parties. They're the people who are asking for a variation from the standard order.
Okay, Mr. Patanti, I assume you don't have any problem with that, then let's go that way.
I have no problem with that. Thank you, Judge.
Yes.
My first witness, I'd call Ms. Tucker.
Okay,
Hello, Your Honor.
Ms. Tucker, you've been sworn in by the judge, so I'm going to ask you a couple of series of questions, and you've spoken and already told your name. What do you do for a living?
I'm a realtor.
Okay, and what are your work hours typically like?
I mean, I try to schedule most of my stuff during the week, like the school weeks. Sometimes I work weekends. I mean, I've been doing real estate since the kids were born. So they're very accustomed to it. I don't tend to really do open houses. I've been doing this for about 10 years, but sometimes they do go show houses with me, and a lot of my clients really know them. A lot of my clients are my friends.
What
as
would
well.
you say is your flexibility or inflexibility with your work schedule?
I've always stayed home with my kids when they're sick. I've always been 100% there whenever they need me, pick them up from school, take them to school. I homeschooled my kids. I've been there.
Well, hold on. Listen to my question, because I want to make sure that we keep this as concise as possible.
All right.
With respect to your work schedule, from what I understand, and what everybody here understands, that realtors have some flexibility with their work schedule because they're
Yeah, Steven, shut up for a second. Rose, you're right. You talked about, why is that not coming up when I put it on there? Hold on. I gotta fix the comments. But, listen, I'm an ex-wife. And, I love my ex-husband's new wife. I agree that, there we go. I agree that they that's a common cliche, and I may have sounded like I thought that earlier, but in reality I've already watched this hearing because I had to listen to it while I recorded it, and her testimony started out infuriating. I don't know why I found it so upsetting that she said, "Hello, Judge," but I just found that, like, I don't know. That set a stage, let's say. And this, unfortunately, is the ex-wife that is a bit of a bitch. I'm just going to say it. I'm not. I really am not. And I get most aren't. But this vibe, believe me, watch it intensify. And what she's asking for and stuff. And he seems to be a good dad. We have a similar St. Jacob situation here where she's like, he's getting trashed all the time. No, I know that, Rose. But you can't change your name on your device. I love that. It sounds like a Nana problem. Anyways, I'm just saying, I agree with you normally that people, ex-wives are, for the most part, actually good allies and but anyways, I've just already seen this and I already have a feeling about her. I had a feeling from the second she said that when I was listening to it, and it just continued on. But let's continue.
Helping people buy or sell homes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you don't have an office where you're required to sit in the office from 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or something like that.
No, sir, I work from home.
Okay, when you work from home, you're communicating with your clients and your buyers and sellers, right?
Yes.
Okay. If your children got sick or they needed to be somewhere, do you have flexibility to take them?
Yeah, I'm 0.7 miles away from the school.
Okay, that was my next question is where do they go to school and how far away is it? Where do they go to school? What's the name of the school?
Blanco Vista Elementary, and I live in Blanco Vista Community.
Okay. So if you could tell us about approximately how many hours a day or a week do you work?
The economy is weird right now, so it really is flexible, but I don't tend to really take appointments and do showings till probably 11 a.m.
Okay.
Sometimes I
Do
do
you-
work. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have to travel for work aside from going to visit a house or, something like that?
No, sir.
And the properties that you're buying or you're helping people buy or sell, are they all within 20 miles of where you live?
Yeah, with Austin traffic, sure.
Okay. Okay. So the twins are named Dakota James and Brooklyn Lyric.
Yes.
Okay. And Dakota James is your son and Brooklyn Lyric is your daughter.
Yes, sir.
Are they healthy? Do they have any health issues?
No,
Do you have any other children?
no.
All right. And you and Brian, just real briefly, I'm going to do a little leading here, but you and Brian met back in 2014-ish, somewhere around there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
Is that the way to do that? Like, he shouldn't be leading. There's another attorney there. The judge, look at the judge's face. She got that little smirk on the side of her face. Like, bruh, you can't lead. Those are the rules. Is this the type of thing where, like, you say you're doing it and so you're allowed to do it? Or is this just bad practice? I don't know. There's 4 attorneys here if you count the judge. And it just seems weird.
in 2015, you found out you were pregnant.
Yes, sir.
And so you and Brian lived together from when the children were born up until approximately when?
November 2021.
Okay. And so we're looking at three years, roughly, well, exactly 3 years, right?
Yes.
Have you had a possession schedule that you informally have agreed to for the past 3 years?
Informally, up until this last year, we were spending a lot of the holidays together and everything, but I've always had full-time custody of the kids.
Okay, and I was gonna narrow it down to the last year. So tell me what the last year, more or less, what the schedule has been for Brian.
This last year, he's had them mostly every other weekend. Recently, we switched to every single Thursday, and then I've been picking him up on Sundays. For example, Monday, the kids didn't have school, and it was his weekend, so he did keep them on that day.
Okay. And so he takes them on every first, third, and fifth, but he gets them on Thursday and he returns them to you on Sunday night.
Yes, sir.
And the weekends he doesn't have, he just has Thursday. Does he take them after school on Thursday or at 5 or 6 o'clock?
Yeah, they go to a lady that's been taking them every Thursday for the last 2 years. Her name is Audrey. And then his schedule has not allowed him to pick them directly up from school or drop them off at school.
Okay. Are you aware of what he does for a living?
He's a journeyman lineman for the city of Austin.
Okay. Do you know his hours that he works?
I believe he needs to be there. I think it's 6:30 a.m. And then I know he gets off at 3.
Okay.
And the school hours, just to clarify, are 7:30 a.m. or 7:25, and their out time is 2:55.
We got to talk about this, my American friends. 7:25 in the morning. Why would you have children at school at that time? I know why, in fact. Oh, Rose, I'll go download them after this then. If they don't come down in the meantime, they might. It's hitting right after work for that time zone. But I'll go check after. Anyways, 7:30 in the fucking morning is too early. Also, so school here, I checked this during today because I was like, wait, am I out of touch? Am I out of touch? No, I'm not out of touch. In Canada, children start school between 8:30 and 9 a.m. generally. Never. And in fact, there's something called before school care. So you could sign up and pay for before school care, but that's at the school and they'll take your child to school. But we get off at the same time though, 3 o'clock. Always 3 o'clock. 9 to 3. 8:30 to 3. It's always been enough, let me tell you. 7:30 to 3 o'clock sounds so long to me. So long. Okay? Also, we've talked so many times about my school, I don't know, willful fucking so they have different times. So I did look at that MB that every school might have different ones, but they just said that this school goes from 7:30 till 2:55. So that's, unless they're getting an hour lunch, which I would totally be down for, because I don't think it's healthy to try and urge people to eat quickly. But anyways, so if they make up for it with longer lunches and breaks, then I'm for it. I always hated it. It was like, you have 6.2 minutes between classes. Like, what? I have to get to a different building. Are you fucking nuts? My high school had different buildings. My locker was in one building. I had no classes in that building. And my high school was 5 stories. Okay? No elevators.
Okay, so they're in school at 7:30.
Yes.
All right. Talk to me about and they're in public school, right? I think that's what you told us.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any involvement in the children's school? Like, are you in PTA? Are you in extracurricular activities? Do you teach there? Is there any involvement you have with the school?
Yeah, so I do a mentorship program on Mondays at the school. And then I coach soccer on Fridays at the school. And then, yeah, I'm a very active member of the PTA as well.
So talk to me about the Monday. What did you say you do on Monday? You do a mentorship?
Yeah, so I have a couple kids through the school, Sophia and Derek. They're just, kids that might have trouble at home, and you just kind of just sit and play games with them.
What time of day do you do that on Mondays?
So I go meet the kids for lunch. So I get there I usually go at about 11:50 to the school, and then my mentorship. So I meet the kids for lunch, and then mentorship starts at 12:50 or 12:20 to 12:50, 30 minutes.
Okay. Talk to me about I want to talk about school days primarily and probably exclusively. Tell me about the routine on a school day. What do you do in the morning? What time do the kids wake up?
So it has changed just from seasonal hours right now, but I would say our current routine is, so I allow 2 hours of screen time. We do family dinner.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
What do you do in the morning when they wake up?
Okay, sorry. So we wake up, snooze about twice, and then we're up by about 6:30 in the morning. They get up, they're pretty self-sufficient at this age. So they usually lay out their clothes the night before, they get dressed, they eat their breakfast. They usually have like toast or a banana, and then they brush their teeth, and then we kind of get on our way. Sometimes they even make me coffee, which is great.
Oh, that's a good plus.
Great
I never
enough.
trained my kids to do that.
That's all Brooklyn.
All right. So they eat breakfast in the morning?
They do.
All right. And then they go to school. Do you drive them or do they take the bus?
I drive them.
And so you're there by 7:30. What is it? Drop off? Is it drop off long?
School, the first bell is 7:25, and then the second one is 7:30. So we're there right around 7:15, 7:20 every morning.
All right. And then what's the afternoon look like? What time do they, you said they get out at 2:30 or 3?
Yeah, so the public school is out at 2:55, but my kids are unassisted walkers, and so I pick them up on the side of the school at 3:15 is their let out, and so just pick them up. Right now, we usually just hang out. Right now, we're doing like from the time I pick them up till 5 p.m. We just kind of hang out. We talk about school. We'll do homework, whatever it is, and then 5 to 7 is screen time for them. Sometimes they have to clean their rooms, whatever on their free time and stuff like that. 5 to 7 is kind of our agreement. And then at 7, we eat our dinner together, and then it's the bedtime, either shower. They're not quite always wanting to shower every single night. Every other night is a must for us. But then, they have really never had a cavity. They have really good dental hygiene. I was a dental hygienist before real estate, just to add that in there. And and then,
Okay. All right. What time do they get to bed?
Like last night we went to bed at 8, so between 8 and 8:30, it just kind of depends.
Okay.
Now it's
All
a
right.
lot easier now with the sun, the sun going down earlier, so that's kind of changed. But they do
Okay.
need a lot of sleep at this age.
Do you have any, by the way, you and I spoke this morning while we were waiting and discussing the case. Did you know that Mr. Behrens was married?
No,
He didn't tell you that.
no.
All right. Have you met the woman that you think he's married to?
I know he has a girlfriend that I think they've been together for, a year and a half, 2 years maybe. I'm not sure, but yes, I have met her before.
Oh, honey, he has a wife. Were you ever his wife? It's gotta suck when you can't lock it down, but somebody else does. And they didn't even pump out any kids. Oh, God. Insult to injury. Right? Am I right? Can you tell I was overscheduled as a child and I hold traumatic fucking trauma about it?
Okay. And when you, now
But it's
you haven't,
shocking to me to hear they're married, to be honest.
when you were, well, you haven't been together since 3 years ago.
Mhm.
Did you have, I'm going to ask you two parts of that dividing line. Prior to November 2021, when you were living together, in your opinion, did Mr. Behrens have an alcohol problem?
Yes, that's why we're not together.
Okay. And do you have any opinion or knowledge of his alcohol intake since November 2021?
I've seen him a few various times. I had a client, a mutual one, about 6 months ago, and he was in the city of Austin truck, getting White Claw with his. So yes, I don't believe much has changed.
Did you witness, well, was he drinking on the job?
No, not so. The work truck broke down, and so I went and I was showing his friend houses. So I picked both of them up, and they, both got trashed in my car while I drove around. It's not
Okay.
my best day, to be honest.
Aside from that incident, do you have any other knowledge of his alcohol use or intake since you guys got separated?
No, I don't really see him, so no, I'm not sure.
Do you have a concern about his alcohol use?
100%.
All right. How about drug use? Do you know of any non-prescription or illegal drugs that he takes?
I know that when he started taking kratom, which is a legal drug, I think that's when I saw Brian go kind of downhill. I think it's a really, I've never done it before, so I don't know, but I have very viable evidence and everything to show what that kind of does.
When did you see him using that?
Well, when I was cleaning out the guest closet, because he did stay here, it was covered all over my wall, but it was all over my house, like everywhere.
All right. If right now we're only disagreeing on the Sunday night possession exchange, whether it's Sunday night or Monday morning, what are your concerns about returning the children on Monday morning versus you getting them on Sunday night?
I would like my kids to start the week, really fresh. I know that we have a really good routine. It's what they're accustomed to. Mainly, I think shuffling around the kids is not something, I mean, when Brian has had the kids, like last Monday, the Monday that he did have them, I mean, they're calling me, and being like, Mom, we miss you. Like they're not they've never been away from me more than 4 days their whole life.
So, all right. Are there any other concerns you have about why you want them on Sunday night?
I mean, I want them just to, again, just to start off the week. I mean, I don't mind giving them, at the end of the week when the weekend's starting on a Friday, but when I have gotten the kids returned to me, they're falling asleep in class. They're not, then I'm dealing with it after. I don't think it's a healthy routine for them because I don't think they have a lot of routine. I think that they just watch video games and that's what they do with their dads. And I just don't think it's that healthy environment.
Has the status quo been he returns them on Sunday nights?
Yes, sir.
All right. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, let me go to Mr. Cisco, cross-exam.
Yes, if I could. Man, it sounds like you have a pretty strict schedule when the kids are with you. Is that true? Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I think so.
Do
I
you
will
ever-
say, so socially, we are all of the friends, like all the kids, between our neighbors and everything, they're all tied to me. So for example, Halloween, they wanted to be with their friends. Therefore, we didn't take them to their dads until after trick-or-treating because if you have any children, they want to be socialized at this age going forward. The parents are getting less cool. So the friends are everything right now to them as well.
But when they're with you, you're pretty formal in the way your time frames you said from 5 to 7 screen time. This is dinner time. This is such and such time. Is that correct?
Yes, 100%.
But at the same time, you really don't know what their schedule is like when they're at my client's house. Is that correct?
No, I don't really know. I know that the kids tell me they, just kind of play
Objection,
video
hearsay.
games. I'm just kind of taking it from my children's opinions and stuff like that. And they're telling me, and also how I see them at school, the next day, and they're generally tired. I don't think they have an 8 p.m. bedtime by any means. We've always, and
But you don't know. You don't know.
I
Is that
don't.
accurate?
Mhm.
And so you observe them at school, on Mondays and Fridays? Is that accurate?
Mhm.
Okay. At this point, you've also talked about Mr. Barron's drug and alcohol use. It's been 3 years since you've spent any appreciable time with Mr. Barron's. Is that correct?
Yeah.
When the alcohol use that you saw before that gave you concern, can you describe that?
I mean, he was sneaking alcohol in sippy cups around the house, there was White Claw in his boots in the closet. I have my lawyer has all this evidence as well. I have a lot of videos of very odd behavior, not of a normal person. I mean, at noon on a Sunday, drinking. He left the gas on once when I wasn't.
I would argue.
Hold on, noon on a Sunday. Even I know that's okay in America, baby. Hi, Julie. Also, Rose, opposing counsel is asking the questions. I guess he could be objecting to hearsay. It's probably a little bit abnormal to object to your own sort of witness and questions, but I'm sure that that's what makes a good trial attorney, somebody who's willing and able to do that kind of thing. But we watch a lot of Zoom court, and it's less, I don't know, it's just a different ball game now. But again, I think the attorney here is doing a really good job, in fact, of cutting to the point. It's interesting to see 2 male attorneys go at it. I don't know. There's always a difference. But I think that he's really just like cutting through, because we've seen hearings like this with these types of allegations drag on for fucking hours. Okay? Fucking hours.
That noon on Sunday, there's a lot of people drinking, particularly during football season. Is
Well,
that accurate?
that's probably accurate, but I'm saying when he was here in my house and stuff, I mean, considering he's working Monday through Friday. and stuff
Okay,
like that.
and you said that he is a lineman for the city of Austin, correct?
Yes, sir.
Has he had any sort of, to the best of your knowledge, had any sort of disciplinary issues at work regarding his drug or alcohol use?
Not that I'm aware of, but also if he's married, I'm not aware of that either. So I don't.
It sounds like a pretty responsible job. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, he's very functioning for sure. And I mean, there's monkey whiz, there's all kinds of things that you can do to get around the system, you know.
There's what, ma'am? Monkey whiz? Did you just... Is that a fucking product? We gotta go back and listen to that again. Ma'am, we watch court all the time. I've never heard anybody cite monkey whiz like it's a passing thing. I don't even know what the fuck that is. I'm assuring, like, I've heard of what's the fake penis thing called? What's that thing called? The one that they, that there's been the Whizzinator, that's right, the Whizzinator. What did she say? Yes, the Whizzinator.
Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, he's very functioning for sure. And I mean, there's monkey whiz, there's all kinds of things that you can do to get around the system, you know, so.
Well, but like I said, you really don't know at this point what
No,
his
but
personal life is like, correct?
I don't know what his personal life is, but I did spend, 7 years with him, so I know.
Okay, but I'm talking about the last 3, correct?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, under the standard expanded possession schedule, you will already have the children 50% of the time, correct? So the weekends that are not his weekends, those would be your weekends, and you would have him on those Sunday evenings.
Yep.
And yet you feel it's necessary to curtail his time even more with regard to those Sunday evenings. Has Mr. Barron's had any problem or history of not being able to get the kids to school on a time? Or have meeting their schedules on a regular basis?
I mean, we haven't really done a lot of this, so I'm not really, sure as far as the Thursdays, they have been getting to school on Fridays. But, for me, though, it's past that. Is Brian able to take the kids? Is this about him trying to get the kids ready for bed and everything? Or is he actually responsible for it? And is he actually the one taking the kids to school? Because he's never been able to do that. So it would be a shocker to me if he is the one actually taking.
But you do understand that once temporary orders are issued, you won't have any control over how he conducts, for the most part, how he conducts his parenting of your children, correct?
Yeah, and that's why I would like to just stick with what's the children are used to and keeping my normal schedule and making sure my kids are excelling.
The standard expanded schedule is presumed to be appropriate in the state of Texas. And that would allow him to have the children every other weekend from Friday evening until Monday morning.
Yeah, and I'm still not comfortable with that. That's why we're sitting here.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Campos, would you have any questions on that specific issue? Ms. Campos?
No, Judge, sorry, I was unmuting. The state doesn't take a position on these, so I'm going to defer to the attorneys on this issue.
And yeah, there's no contested issues with respect to the state's issues.
Correct, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Any further examination of your client, Mr. Cotanti?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you calling another witness or are you
I'm briefly going to call Mr. Barron's.
Okay, sure.
Mr. Barron's, you're a lineman for the city of Austin?
Yes, sir.
What are your hours during the week? Do they vary or are they pretty stable?
Oh, they vary, but for the most part, it's a 40-hour work week, Monday through Friday. Yeah, 6:30 to 3 o'clock every day. Holidays off, but it depends on the weather a lot, and different things, but yeah.
Okay. And when did you get married?
Oh, I just got married a few weeks ago, actually. I would say like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay. What's your wife's name?
Jennifer Sherwood.
Okay. And does Jennifer take the children to school on Friday mornings?
Yes, sir.
And if you were to have the children overnight on Sunday, she'd take the children to school on Monday mornings.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
What is the Thursday night bedtime for the kids since they're going to school the next day?
I would say like 8:39 to be honest. By the time we're finally laid down and going to sleep.
Okay. And what would you consider or what would you say is your level of involvement with the children's school?
I'll do homework with them, daily, try to read them books. When I can, if I work all night and I'm off the next day, I will try to make it a point to take them to school, and have breakfast with them, and try to pick them up if I have that day off.
When you've been doing, and you heard the testimony today that you've been returning the children to Miss Tucker on Sunday nights when you have a weekend. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. But sometimes it's even earlier than that. It might be like 11 or 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
It's not Sunday night sometimes.
All right. So sometimes it's Sunday late afternoon,
Yeah.
or I'm sorry,
Sunday,
late
like-
morning, early afternoon.
Early afternoon. Yeah.
Okay. And then you're sorry. There hasn't been an occasion yet where you have the children Sunday night and you bring them to school on Monday morning, right?
Not that I can recall. No.
Okay. Do you consume alcohol?
Yes, sir.
How often?
I would say, every once in a while.
Meaning every day?
No, not every day. No.
Okay. And about how much do you drink a day? Well, how much do you drink when you drink?
Well, I would say a couple of beers at least.
Okay. Does Jennifer, I think you said Jennifer, right? Jennifer's your wife?
Mhm.
Jennifer have any children?
Yes, sir. She does.
Okay. Do they live with you?
No, they do not.
All right. Are they teenagers, older than that, or young kids?
Early 20s.
Okay. So aside from you and Jennifer and the children, when you have the children, is there anyone else living at the house with you?
No, sir.
All right. Do you use, I can't remember how to pronounce it, but it started with a K, the drug that she was talking about, the over-the-counter drug?
No, sir.
It's called Kratom or something like that. Are you familiar with that?
No, I don't know.
Do you use any over-the-counter medication for
No, sir.
moods or okay. Anything for anxiety or depression?
No, sir.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Cisco?
If I may briefly, Mr. Behrens, have any time, y'all have been doing this every other weekend schedule for roughly a year. Before that time, what kind of schedule did y'all exercise?
Every other weekend.
Okay. Have you had any problems at any point in time making sure the children get to school and they're dressed appropriately and ready to go, or picking them up on time with your work schedule?
No, sir.
Let me also ask, with regard to your wife, when did you say you got married?
It was a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I'll say a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I can't remember the exact date. I'm not really good with dates.
Okay. How long have y'all been together?
For 2 years.
Okay. Does your wife have a relationship with the kids?
Oh yeah.
What does that look like?
I mean, it's special, like I could tell if they care about her and love her a lot, and she does spend a lot of good quality time with them, doing little different arts and crafts and little things like that with them. And she is very involved with them, like cooking together, and helping them, take them to school and all of that as well.
Okay, so she also helps out with getting them to school and picking them up from school. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
In your mind, do you think there would be any problem at this point? You said there's been no problem getting the kids to school or picking them up. If you were given the standard expanded schedule, which would give you one, every weekend that you have the kids, you would be allowed to take them to school on Monday. Do you think that would impose an undue burden on anybody?
Oh, that would be no problem.
Okay. And to go back and readdress the issue, Miss Barron's talked about you and a friend getting trashed in her car. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, I do not recall. No, don't recall that.
What exactly happened that day?
Are you asking me?
She said she picked you up from work. The truck had broken down or something like that.
Yeah, we broke down in a bucket truck in San Marcos, and then we left it there. Then she picked us up, and the guy I was with, one of my coworkers, one of my friends, he was using her as her realtor, and she was going to show him property. So we went with her to go look at houses. So.
Okay, and were y'all driving with alcohol in the car?
No, sir, no.
Okay. So it's not like what you're saying is y'all didn't get trashed in the vehicle, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
What about other drug use? I mean, you said, is there anything else that you use on a regular basis that by law would be, it's either prescribed or you have to take according to a prescription?
No, sir, nothing illegal, like for work, there's random drug testing, and I've never failed a random drug test. I just take my job very seriously, and so
What would they do if you failed a drug test at work?
They would give you probably a week of no pay. You'd be put on probation for probably 6 months. But I have
But that's never happened to you?
No, sir. And I don't have any criminal record, or I don't have any DUIs, so.
Okay. And at this point, you're just asking that the court impose a traditional standard expanded schedule with the holidays that are included in that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And I'm sorry, what was your wife's name again? Jennifer
Sherwood.
And she can help you stick to that schedule, correct? Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Campos, I assume you don't have follow-up.
I don't, Judge. I do realize though that we didn't address non-disclosure in negotiations. So I would just maybe want to ask on the record about that to the attorneys. Is anybody requesting non-disclosure of their address because of family violence issues in this case?
Not that
I
I'm
don't believe
aware
so.
of.
No.
Okay, wonderful. Then I just wanted to get that on the record as well so we can include that in the temporary order.
Oh, great.
But nothing else from me, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Patanti, anything further for your client?
Just a couple of questions for Mr. Behrens. Mr. Behrens, does Jennifer work?
Let me know.
Does Jennifer work outside the home?
Yes, sir, she does. She's a massage therapist, so she has to go to, do outcalls, go to clients' homes, and.
Okay. Is her schedule pretty flexible?
Yes, sir, it is. She makes her own schedule.
Okay.
She works for herself.
And do you guys how many cars do you have at the house?
We have 2 vehicles.
All right. So she drives her own vehicle. You drive your own vehicle?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. And, all right. I have nothing further than Your Honor.
And I mischaracterized, that's not your client, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, anything further, Mr. Cisco? Any more go-arounds here?
No further questions for this witness.
Then, Mr. Patanti, you rest.
I rest, Your Honor.
Mr. Cisco, anything else you want to present?
If I may, Your Honor, I'd like to call Miss Sherwood.
Oh, okay. We have a
Sherwood?
witness here somewhere. Is she in a break room that can be brought in, Ms. Campos, or?
No, she's
This is the
there.
first time hearing about a witness, Judge. Oh, it looks like,
Oh, I'm
okay.
sorry. She's
And I'm going to object. We didn't know that there was a witness sitting in on the testimony, so I'm going to object to her testimony as she was not excluded from hearing Mr. Barron's testimony.
He
Well, as usual, they have a type. They have a type. He has a type. I'm starting a poll. The question is, what's the verdict gonna be? And the options are gonna be expanded, standard possession order, SPO, nothing expanded, and then a mix of both. I want you to get your votes in now. He didn't invoke the rule, that's right, but they also rubbed them a little bit of the wrong way, because she was there the whole time. Anyways, get your votes in right now. The poll has been polled. It's been polling. It's polling. Let's keep listening. We'll see how right you were.
would have been able to hear it online anyway. It's on YouTube.
Well,
But she's a
if we'd
witness in it.
known, I think I could have put her under the rules. Somebody would ask for that, or I would have imposed it.
Okay.
Is it that big a deal, or is it, Mr. Patati, you're entitled?
I don't know what she's going to say, but I would like to lodge that objection that I didn't know she was present and I didn't know that she was prepared to testify. So she could have been excluded from the morning or from the prior testimony.
And Mr. Cisco, any countervailing argument that
I
would?
just think it would help the court to have some idea of the parameters that both of the parties are dealing with and the people who are able to help in the care and support of the children.
Okay, Mr. Behrens, was your wife sitting there the whole time listening to everything?
Yes, ma'am. She was.
Okay, I'm an excluder. The objection is granted. Then, where else are we? Everybody rest then?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, closing, and I think I can tell you what your closing is going to be better than you can. However, I'll let you do it if it's brief. Mr. Patati.
I'm waiving my closing. Yeah, I think I covered everything, Your Honor.
I would agree, Your Honor.
And same with me, Judge.
Thank you. Well, the first thing I'll do is approve everything y'all already agreed to, not a problem, and send it off to district court, because if you have more disagreements, they'll probably last longer than the 15 minutes, which is really 42.
Okay.
And I'll take 3 minutes of that off the top because that was my speeches. Always try to do things that might work and might help the next court or might help me in the future or something. Sometimes I try to split the baby when you can't split the baby. And family law gives me some flexibility to do that. We'll get along well enough, and ma'am, you haven't objected to most of the standard to where this just one morning is problematic. You stated your reasons, I get that.
Is she referring to splitting the baby from the bathwater or the bathwater from the baby? Is that the saying that she's referencing? Because that's what I think. That's the only thing I can think of is like separate the baby from the bathwater. Exclamation mark email. Let's see if it works, Julie. It did. Look at that. A previous Paisley or Jonathan taking care of us or a CYP.
Dad, I don't know much about you, and I guess your wife didn't get to help you today, but you're going to have another court date. You're going to go see somebody else, or you're going to resolve it by mediation without us, which would be the most ideal thing, because if you all work it out, guess what? You're more likely to live with it than if somebody imposes it on you. But what I'm gonna do to help everybody else down the road is split the baby. I'm gonna let him have a weekend where he has Mondays and see how that works and see if the kids are really just sleep deprived the one Monday and never else. And I'm gonna let you prove, Mr. Behrens, that there's no problems with the Monday mornings. And if that's the case, maybe you'll get the full standard. So yeah, I'm gonna do something that I think is practicable that y'all, it's not gonna be worth appealing me anyway if you go to mediation pretty quick and allow the one weekend per month. Now, do you want the first, third, or fifth weekend? Mr. Cisco, on your client's behalf, that should be
Which
the,
weekend, if I ask my client, would you prefer to the first or the third weekend?
The first weekend. I mean,
okay.
that's
And you're smart not picking the fifth because there's rarely fifth weekends. And Miss Tucker, would that be terrible on your schedule if it was the first weekend of every month?
No, I mean, I think that I think my attorney said right of a refusal too, like for the future and everything like that. But all I want to do is keep things standard for my children because they're the case right now, not our personal things.
I
And
get it, but I'm trying to follow the law, which is basically what the family code says, and what my bosses think. And I'm going to order some of it, not all of it, so you both win a little and lose a little. And let's try it, see some history with it, and see who's right or who's wrong, and y'all fight it out the next time. That's what my decision is going to be. So it'll be the first weekend of every month where Dad has the overnight, the expanded standard to Monday to school time. Is that all I have to say, Ms. Campos? Who's drafting the order, first of all? Maybe it shouldn't be Ms. Campos, or yes.
I'm drafting the order. I have it mostly drafted. I'm so sorry, Judge. I was so deep in drafting that I did not hear what day you said.
The
Is
first
it the
weekend of the
first-
month, he gets the expanded standard to let him at least have one weekend a month instead of all weekends, and give him a chance to prove himself. Yeah, I think kids' schedules are important, and yes, you've heard the arguments, Mr. Behrens, why maybe you shouldn't have it. So don't vary from the schedule. Try to get them to sleep earlier rather than later. Maybe that'll help instead of you deciding on your own that 9:30 or 10 is better than 8 or 8:30. So just y'all keep talking and follow the schedule with the extra Mondays. Okay, then that'll be my order, and then it gets referred so I don't have to see y'all again. But thank you for appearing here and waiting on me. I had some other couple of things to do this morning.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good weekend.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Your Honor.
Y'all know how it works with the state drafting it and emailing it to you. I don't have to say anything. Okay, thank you.
No, ma'am.
Thank you,
Then
Judge.
I'll
Thank you,
excuse-
Kara.
No problem. Y'all have a good rest of your day.
Y'all too. Have a great weekend.
Damn, y'all.
If you all log out, I can stop my recordings.
You can,
Everybody
Judge.
has left the virtual courtroom except the state, and that concludes this hearing. And I'll stop the recording.
Wrong way. I thought that was a great case for us to watch. I love how succinct the lawyers were in the end, that we got a ruling. I think she's right. This has got litigation written all over it. But I think she did a really good job. Thank you guys for enlightening me on the biblical beginnings of the term split the baby. I'm thinking it's like some idiom, and it's not. But anyways, I really had a great time. I recorded a bunch of other great court today that I'm going to work on tonight, getting into video format. Video format for them all. Julie, I just got your email. Apparently that goes through my wrist. I will look at that later. Video format, but we'll be back at it again tomorrow with another crazy court case, if you will. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate it that you're here. I appreciate your likes, and guess what else? Your comments, they mean so much to me. Amazing. Anyways, thanks. Remember that I love you, I'm proud of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Ways down and